Do you know if Caleb's in the...
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to our final presentation for our UFinancial application. I am Philip Stefanowitz. I work on front end and back end.
I'm Lauren. I worked on styling and design and some front end.
I'm also worked on the front end and the back end.
Yeah, and I'm Miguel, and I worked on the front end.
So we're going to begin the presentation with the project idea and value. So the problem was in the modern day, many people are facing financial hardships with the cost of living. People are finding it difficult to cover their expenses. Managing money can be extremely overwhelming and a really big hassle. So our solution was coming up with the UFinancial application. This application allows different users to budget their income, and they can input their salaries and figure out how much money they want to divvy up into each type of savings and needs and wants. So the value is it's a way for people to get ideas on how to budget their money. Holds people accountable for what they want to do with their paychecks, so they're not overspending, and then it helps people set themselves up for success and financial and help them with their financials in the future.
So I'm going to go over some of the technical debt that we faced, first starting with some features that we weren't able to implement. The first feature that we weren't able to implement was that we wanted to be able to give users the ability to update their calendar and chart throughout the week as they spend their money on each of their allocation categories. So this basically means is that we wanted, after we give them their budget for their pie chart and their calendar on the budget, to update as they're spending money throughout the week. So this became a problem for us, mostly because of time. Like, we just didn't really have the time to implement the feature. So we just scrapped it, basically. Another feature not implemented is that we didn't add direct banking data collection from an Excel file or any other form. The problem with this is more of a knowledge issue than a time issue. We didn't know exactly how to securely take in a wide variety of people's banking data in a way that, we would feel comfortable with holding that data and processing it. And there would be a lot of edge cases with handling user data in this way. So we decided that it wasn't worth doing for us. In terms of code sacrifices, the biggest sacrifice we made in regards to security was authenticating the user login with two-factor. We decided that since we were inexperienced in web development, we would focus our efforts on making the features of our budget creation tool more robust and try to implement more security measures if we had time at the end of the project lifecycle. So what was the effect of this sacrifice? We never ended up implementing two-factor, and another issue was proper login state checking, such as something like JWT. We didn't implement that either. So that could lead to vulnerabilities in the future where someone's budget could be compromised using some methods.
Okay, so now on to the demo. I'm going to go over to this. This right here is our application. When the user goes on to the application, they will start on the About page. The About page just says what the application is, why we created it, and then just how the idea was formed. The user can then either go to the budgets, or I'm going to start with the account page. They'll start on the login page. If they don't have a login, they can sign up. You can sign up with your first name, last name. Going to put in a random at email.com, and then any password you'd like, and make sure the passwords are matching. And then when you click sign up, you create your account. It brings you back to the login page. And then now, I'm not going to lie, I forgot what the email was, but I already have an account, so I can use my account. And now it logs you into your account. So it just gives you your account summary, just says, hey, a nice greeting to the application. And then it gives you your email and then the date that your account was created. Now Caleb is going to go into the budget category.
All right. Do you guys see this?
Correct.
All right. So for the budget page, this is where you can make and form your own budgets. I'm not logged in right now, so a cool feature of our program is that you don't actually need to be logged in to use it. You can still create budgets. It just adds some deletion and naming features, so small things. So the first page you have is a questionnaire that kind of helps us suggest a budget to you. So let's say I just want to spend a bunch of money. I don't really care about savings or needs. I would probably answer no to these questions, yes to this, and no, I don't really care about saving. Weekly salary, just how much I make in a week. Let's just say I made $100 a week. I would get a suggestion and automatically filled allocation categories for needs, wants, and savings. So what does it say here? It says your questionnaire supports a budget focused on wants. We have allocated amounts to each category based upon this data. So that makes sense based off what I said I was going to submit on the questionnaire form. Let's say I also wanted to save up for the Nintendo Switch 2. You could add that category in. And let's say I want to give 5% to that and just don't save anything. Now I can submit the form. After a little bit of loading, it will give me the budget. So this is a pie chart showing the allocation categories and how much is allocated to each. Then here is a calendar of the week, and it tells me how much I can spend each day on each category. So since I didn't have any savings, $0 in investments or savings, every day I can spend about $8 on wants. On this day, on Thursday, I should set aside $5 for the Nintendo Switch and $35 for my needs on Saturday. And then you can go and create more budgets like that. And it doesn't, since I'm not logged in, this will not save if I close and reopen the page. So I can actually show that here. You can see that I don't have the budget here, but if I logged in, then all my budgets would be saved permanently. So yeah. How do I stop sharing my screen?
Okay. Stretch goals.
All right. So for our stretch goals, we really just wanted to think big and have really creative ideas on this. And the biggest thing for us was to have the safe and smart ability to automatically track transactions, whether it's with Plaid, which is a very popular software, or with something similar. That way, we can securely connect our users' accounts to their bank accounts, and then that way they can automatically see live updates of where they are with their spending and what they're saving. A big thing now, especially with the growth of AI, is just AI integration. So we would want to have AI basically constantly analyzing their spending and their budgets, and then giving suggestions and reports that would best benefit the user and give them the best suggestions of how to move forward with certain goals that they want to hit. And then the big thing here is that some people would want a certified consultant for this, and this could be a future premium service that we could add, which is one of our other goals. But that way, people can receive professional one-on-one assistance through CPA, CFPs, CNFPs, things that are high priority to them as a college student, or maybe possibly they're heading into their master's or their doctorates where they're already getting a higher paying job and they really want to be smart with the money that they're earning. Especially with the premium plans, this could be a service that's provided. So with that being a service, it has value, and it's a lot of data when it comes to using the software and having to pay for the machinery and to be able to provide this type of service. So we would look into payment plans, whether it's premium, and then the more you pay, the better consultants you get, or the more time you get with consultants. And of course, biggest thing would be is that almost every college campus and students on college campuses all around the states use our website to be able to think smartly and go confidently with their budget and spending.
So some of the issues that we faced was a big one was implementing the logo. That was my job, and I really just didn't have the proper experience. So I needed to work with the other guys to see if I could get some help And eventually, Miguel and Caleb took over on that aspect, and I ended up implementing it. And then I met with Miguel to just go over how they did it, so I know for future projects how I can help in the future with other groups. Another issue was, of course, the trouble with the 2FA. Time management has been a really big one. We all just have a lot going on, and it's sometimes it can be hard for us to work together and find time to get things done. Um, we had a problem with a few of the ed cases. Specifically, early on, there was an edge case that when you refresh the page, you ended up getting logged out. So that was a problem that Caleb actually worked on and ended up fixing. And then budget factors and environment setup. Initially, I know I especially had a problem setting up my environment. I had to make an SSH key, and my GitHub was just being wonky. So, and I had to download a few things, and Caleb ended up helping me out with that. So that worked out well. Um, and then we also just had to be careful about pushing and pulling, um, and making sure not to override each other's code. Also, coloring the pages. I had an initial issue just because I used an invalid color code, but I was able to easily fix that. So next steps that we have going on, we're going to work on inputting money to see progress for our users. So they're going to be able to see their progress. We're going to be able to see the progress. Today we actually worked on making some dummy accounts, so we had more data in our database. We actually have 130 dummy accounts now, so we have a pretty good view on what data and what we can expect from who else is going to use our account. We also want to try to make notifications to remind users to input their data. That's something we're also going to work on. And then if we have time, we're going to try to implement a 2FA.
Thank you very much. That's our presentation.
All right, nice.